This is Mid-Atlantic Women in Agriculture's Wednesday webinar, Optimizing Your Website for Google. Our presenter today is Michelle Walfrid, Communications Specialist, University of Delaware. This session is pre-recorded, but Michelle has provided her email address for follow-up questions. All archived presentations, along with all upcoming presentations, can be found at our website. And a special thank you to our sponsors, Mid-Atlantic Farm Credit, Delaware Department of Agriculture, and Maryland Department of Agriculture. Thank you for listening.
Search, organizing your website and optimizing it for Google. And this is increasing your search engine optimization. It's called, calling it CEO. Now, CEO is not necessarily marketing, although there's some marketing components in here. What CEO is doing certain things to your website so that when people search on Google, you are going to show up, not on page 8 or 9, but maybe page 1 or page 2. So if they're searching for you specifically, or if they're searching for, if you're a winery and they want to look up wineries in Cecil County, Maryland, are you going to show up? Is your website going to show up? If they're searching for a creamery, or if you're selling goat milk, are they going to find you, and will they find you without having to dig deep into Google? So this is what search, and you can do certain things and certain tools to make that happen. And what we're going to do today is learn how to use some of Google's products. You don't have to do any of these. You can do a combination of these. But the more you do, the more you're going to improve your ranking on Google. What you need on your website, how to use links, and backlinks are often sometimes called pingbacks, and the role of photographs in your website. Now let's start with the obvious. Why are we talking about Google and not the others? There are lots of, there's DuckDuckGo, but you can see here, this is the market share. And if you look at the market share, Google blows everybody else out of the water. You may be a Yahoo fan or a Bing fan, and that's great. I use them too. But if you want to get people to your website and find out about who you are, you need to, and someone needs to mute their, please mute your microphones, please, so we don't get any back sound. I'm listening to somebody. Google is 72% of the share, so it is the website, and we still have somebody that's not muted. Please check your microphones and make sure your mics are muted. I would appreciate that. Otherwise, I got to break out of it and mute you. So what Google does is they reward high-quality websites. They want to see compelling, relevant, and dynamic content that people will stay to read, that people will come back over and over again, and will share on their social networks, and that other people refer to. And this is, I took a webinar last February. It was called the Delaware Social Media Conference. It was held at Del Tech. It's going to be held again, I think it's February 17th, 2017. Definitely recommend you going to that. It was $85, a day of training. We got a free selfie stick with that. We got a nice lunch and lots of different breakout sessions, and I took Alex's. So where you see his logo and his name, I've lifted off of his presentations, which he has supplied. And if you actually go to the Delaware Tech Social, if you Google Delaware Social Media Conference, all the presentations that day are uploaded, so you can read his presentation in full. Very, very informative. So what you want to do is you want to tap into Google's suite of resources. Now, you may already have a Gmail account. You may not. You may not be using Google as your search engine, but you still, even though you don't personally use it, most people are using it. So you want to optimize. So what you can do is I would advise you to create a Google Gmail account for your business. So I'm going to, throughout this, I'm going to come up with a business called Walfred's Winery. So I have this winery. So I'm going to go into Google and I'm going to create a walfredwinery@gmail.com. It's 100% free. When I do that, the minute I do that, I get all these other free array of services. I will get a free YouTube channel. Someone needs to mute their microphone, please. Thank you. You need to, it will give you entry into Google+. I don't know whether you've heard of Google+ before. It launched to go head-to-head with Facebook, and it didn't do so hot. It's still there. And so just like Facebook, you can have a personal page, personal privacy page where you just talk with friends and upload pictures. And then you can create a business page just like you would on Facebook. And, well, why do that if nobody's going to it? Well, the reason is it's Google. And so Google's going to take care of its own content. So if you're posting pictures, if I'm going to post pictures of the grapes growing on my winery, and I'm going to say, oh, this season's going to be great, and I've put that on Facebook, and I have a link to our calendar, I'm going to put the exact same content. I'm going to duplicate it onto Google Plus page as well, because that is going to feed into the search engine part. It's not, you might not get nearly as many followers, you probably won't, but you're not doing it for followers, you're doing it to reinforce your website address and make it more prominent when other people search for Delaware wine or Maryland ice cream, or I want to go to where you're selling pumpkins. So if you've got this content on your main website and you're sharing stuff on Facebook, you want to also share it on a Google page. Now that's a Google page just like a Facebook page would be. You can also get Google Docs, which goes head-to-head with Microsoft Office. They have their own version. I'm using right now, I'm using their version of PowerPoint. You can go and have Word docs, Excel. They have all that, and it's completely free. The other thing you want to do is when you finish this webinar, I want you to Google My Business or Google Places. This is a registry of your business. If you've ever gone in and Googled Pat's Pizza or a local restaurant, how it shows up, and if it shows up prominently, depends whether or not you have filed your location with Google. This is 100% free. I'm going to show you what it looks like. And on mobile, it gives the person who's Googling you your phone number, your hours, a map right to your business. It gives you reviews. People can review you just like they can on Yelp and on Facebook. And also metrics. I get a report every month from Google saying 1,500 people have clicked on your website. This is how many people looked at a map. So it's like having a giant virtual yellow page ad without having to pay anything for it. So here's an example. This is where I work. This is Carville Research and Education Center. And this here that you're seeing, this on the in the middle, is a result of my filing this business with Google Places. If I didn't do that, you would just see something just like this on the left, but you wouldn't see the map, the address, the phone number, a review, etc. We only have one review. On the far right, this is how it appears on a mobile device. So I ask Siri, I say, Google Carville Research and Education Center. This comes up, and I can call. I don't have to look for the phone number. It's right there for me. Here's the directions, and it would immediately link me on how to get here, what our hours are, what the location is. If you're a restaurant, it'll have the menu. This is wonderful. It's completely free, and a lot of businesses aren't doing it. Your farm. So you have to go through a procedure. They will verify who you are, and then they will come back and they'll give you a little code, and you set it up and you say, yes, that's me. And next thing you know, when people are Googling you, you're going to pop up very, very prominently on the side. So it is a terrific, this is how you'll do it. You go Google My Business, and it's going to give you the benefits, how it works, the success stories, what it will do for you. And so you would just go in here and learn more, and it will walk you through the steps on how to do it. But this is absolutely 100% essential today when everybody's going on their mobile phones. You've got to be able to have this. It's fantastic service. And if you have a Facebook page, you do want to create, I've already mentioned this, you do want to create a mirror Google page. Now, you don't have to do this, but it really, really does help you. For instance, this is the USDA. Now, USDA has a very vibrant Facebook page. It's not quite as vibrant on Google. They've only got 2,300 followers, but that's not the point. The point is that their web content will show up better if they also create a Google Plus page. So this is what it looks like. And they just post articles and videos that refer back to their website. So you're doing this. It's a little bit, and you don't have to do every single post you do on Facebook. You have to do on Google Plus, but you want to do maybe one a week at least. And this is not about gaining followers. This is about making sure your website shows up when people search. And people sometimes won't just search for your name. They may be searching for Delaware wine or Maryland ice cream or pumpkin patches or where's the nearest orchard. And if you've got those words in your website or you've used those kinds of tags, I'm going to show you how that works, then you're going to show up in a search. This is what this is all about. Your website. You want to be able to check your site speed. All of this, by the way, is courtesy of Alex Schenker. You want to check your website. How hard is it to load for people? Not everybody has different speeds. So you can actually go to this site here called Website Grader. You'll type in your URL, and they will do a whole analysis for you, and they will tell you, you've got some pictures you need to compress, you're a little slow on this. They'll grade you and give you kind of a review of your website, how they think you're doing. Your website needs to have a privacy policy. So in other words, if you're collecting emails, what do you do with them? If you have a form that people fill out, are you going to give their names out to people? Like register here for we do it for the Maryland for this. So the webinar, well, what is Mid-Atlantic, is the University of Maryland selling those out to other agricultural businesses? I don't think so, but your website should have a privacy policy saying, everything we collect, everything that if you communicate with us and ask us a question, we're not going to take your email and sell it or share it out to people. Or maybe you will. Some places do that. So, but if you don't have anything on your website at all, Google looks at that as you're not quite as trustworthy as if you were. So it gives you a bump. So you want to have a privacy policy or terms of use if it applies. If you are paying to have your domain name, for instance, I have an academic site I use called Thomas. I did my master's degree on a cartoonist of the 19th century, and you'll see some of that. And so I did it on WordPress, and so it says thomasnasscartoons.wordpress.com. And I wanted to have something shorter, so I pay like $25 a year to have thomasnasscartoons.com. So if you have a domain name you're using and you're paying for, if you can do it for more than once a year, that would be better. If you are hiring out a business to someone and you're paying for that domain name once a year, it's better to pay for it 2 years or 3 years at a time. Why is that? Because Google sees a 1-year domain name. It knows that it could expire. So you're not as legitimate as if you've invested into a longer term. So if you have that option, fortunately for me, WordPress, but I'm not selling anything, but WordPress, it's once a year. I have to do it once a year. I would love to be able to pay for it 20 years because if something happened to me, I want that website to continue. But if you have the option to pay for multiple years up front, you should do that. On social media, photographs rule. For websites, they do not in CEO terms. Now, people like photographs and you want to put photographs on your website. But photographs do not drive your search engine optimization. It's words. Your landing page should have 700 words minimum. That's a lot. That's a lot. But it needs to have a couple paragraphs of who you are. Now you could spot it. You could have the way you design your website. You could have a section about us, and that could talk about your family's history, the business, how you got into the business of selling wine or ice cream or produce or whatever it is that you're doing. But you just don't want to have a website where your landing page is a gorgeous photograph with very little text. You want to have, and he suggests 700. I've heard people say 500. It should be a natural writing style. Don't overuse keywords. So if you're talking about Holsteins, you might want to also say cows. You might want to say boat. You might want to use different words. It has to be absolutely free of spelling errors. And if you're not sure, get somebody to proofread it. If it's spelled wrong, Google doesn't take you seriously. It demotes you for that. Google also loves bullet points. So you could have a paragraph about, why our produce is better, why our wine is better, and then have bullets. So some of your pages, if you're using bullets, that's a good thing. You want to avoid copying content from other websites, even if it's your own. So you might have a blog going on and you've written this great blog and now you want to kind of put it on your website too. Google's going to be confused with that because it's the exact same phrasing. It's the same verb, same object, everything. So you're better off linking to that other content and saying, for more information, check this out. But you don't want to copy something word for word. You're better off paraphrasing it or linking to it, even if you give them credit. You also want to refresh your content as often as possible. And for those of you who can get on the chat, I would like to know how often you change up your website. Has it been years? Do you change it once a month? You should have one page on there, preferably on the front. Maybe it's a sidebar where you're updating what's new, what's happening in your world, what's happening with your business. We've just got peaches in, and boy, are they delicious. And here's a picture of them. And then, next week, something else is coming in. So you change that. You want to keep it fresh as you can. You also want to pay attention to your headers. Now, this is, if you're farming out your website to someone else, you may be writing it, and then you get them to do it. But your post or your page title is the most important thing you want to pay attention to. It needs to be descriptive. It can't be like today's special. Well, that doesn't tell me anything. The blueberries are great today. It's our special. Tells me something different. So you want that main header or your page or post title to be very keyword strong, short, punchy, but it gives information. Then as you go down your page, you can design them differently, and what Google will do is they will rank an H1 the highest. It's what they have, these little spider bots, these little mechanical or electronic things that are constantly scanning the web for new information. So they are going to look for H1s and headlines first. Then they are going to go down the line. So if you've ever worked in WordPress, or if you ever worked on any kind of Dreamweaver, whatever site it is that you're composing, and even really in, you can do it in Word for that matter, the longer you go down, the smaller you go, the less influential they are. So in this particular example, 6 examples of a strong homepage SEO optimization is the header. That's what Google is going to see first, and it's going to refresh it. So if somebody's looking for strong homepage SEO, like I did, I searched for this. This came up right away because that title of this is what this article is about was right here. Then this is what's called a subheader, and it can be usually use an H2 or H3. Again, you want to have, it needs to describe what it is. Then these are called smaller headings, and you want to be able to have these also in an H4 or H5, but Google is going to rank these. And last but not least, they will look at the actual text of your work. These could be your bullets, and just what you're saying about your business. And you do want to have, this is a nice look. This is a good amount of text for one page, but you can go 1,500 words, 200 words, if you've got 2,000 words. If you've got something to say, that's going to help your search engine optimization. The other thing you want to do, and you'll notice here, is you will occasionally hyperlink something, a keyword that maybe will point to another page in your website. So we'll go over that in a second. This is our cooperative extension landing page. Now we're just working on this. This was at first only just a photograph. It took up the entire window. Our web developer, Christy Mannering, right now is in the process of adding text. So these are what are called little features, and you can click on them and get more in-depth articles. But what this did is this added in text. And then we had links over here, contact us, ask an expert. Here's our fact sheets. We have an about us over here, resources. We have links to our privacy policy down below. So this is a very good website design. Here's another one. I just wanted to show you this. This is one. Here is a large photograph. It's got a call to action. Sign up now. Learn more. Visit us. But it goes on. So that's like one section. Don't be worried about the fact that it's going deep. Oh, people won't know to scroll. Everybody knows now that knows to scroll down. But here you have another. This is why our business is good. We build for conversations. Sign up now, a call to action. A lot of white space, but just enough text. And you can see they're using different headers. There's something that's probably like an H2, and that's probably an H3. So, and then it keeps going. Then we're going to talk about heat maps. This could be apples. This could be your value statement. This could be about your family history. This could be about your particular products. So, but it keeps going down. So there's a lot here. It's not a lot of text, but there's enough text that's going to drive this. This is considered to be, here's a testimonial from somebody who's done business. Here they tell you who their partners are and who they work with. Here's how you can request a demo. And then they have all this. They have a Twitter feed down below. So if you're on Twitter, you have Instagram, you can put that in. So this is an example of what is considered to be a very, very good website design. And the other thing, is it mobile friendly? All right, so we're going to go back to this. So let's see, where am I here? All right. So, and somebody mentioned Weebly. I'm not sure why, and there's a workaround for this, but Alex Shankar said that the free Weebly, and there's also Wix, and there's a couple other ones, they're very easy to use. They have nice templates, but Google will not give them as serious consideration as they would WordPress or with a designed website. So you'll get a little bit of a demotion in your search engine optimization using this. And you may say, well, no, I type in from Walford's window, I'm going to get that. And if it's an easy enough name of a business and it's unique, yes, this is going to feed into Google's search engines. But there are other elements of your website. If people are going to say, you know, Michelle Walford Photography, which is what this is, that might not bring this particular website up. It may bring up something else. So be careful with these. If you have a Weebly or a Wix, is something that you've done, or a GoDaddy auto build, you have to really pay attention to the pictures you put inside of them to kind of counteract that, and we'll go over that. So I had originally started out with a Weebly. I did this for a photography course I took. This was required, so I started one. But I wasn't getting a lot of traffic on it. I've since then went over into WordPress. And when I type in WordPress, these images do come up. So I moved everything over into WordPress, which is also free. I don't pay anything for this. But WordPress and Google search engines are very friendly with each other. So it's just something you might want to consider doing. And the WordPress, people think of them as blogs, but you can set them up so that they are static websites. And I think they're very, if you can do email, you can do WordPress. And we have some webinars on WordPress, so we'd be glad to post those links up. Keep going here. So here's, for instance, Hopkins Farm Creamery. I just did a random test of them. They're in Delaware, and they have obviously registered their business with Google Business because it's here. So that's great. Clicked on their website, and here's their website. And they have, and we'll come back to this because I have some ideas, but here's their websites that they're on. They're on Instagram, they're on Facebook, Pinterest, YouTube, Google+, and Twitter. So they're really hitting social media really well. They have their tweets up here. Personally, I would like to see an Instagram feed up there because you want to see ice cream. You don't want to read about it. You want to see it. So I would change that out if I had to recommend something to them. But they use Delmarva Digital, so they sub this information out. They have a video, so as soon as you come on over is their call to action. They have a little video. Here's their tweets. They have a calendar of events. Nicely done. Things are in bold. They're using their headers. Down below here, they have what's called a mission statement, so I think I wanted to show you that. And here's the only thing I would recommend with this is that they probably ought to have a contact us page instead of having all this text, but this is good. But when you see something like this, Cape May Lewis Ferry, hyperlink. This is not just a bridge or a ferry. This is a location that they have a website. The Wilmington Bridge, I think they meant the Delaware Memorial Bridge or the Chesapeake Bay Bridge. They really don't have the websites. It's not. It's something that people use, but this is actually a destination people go to. So anytime you can link to another source, if you're saying something, if you mention here our farm fresh made ice cream, you could hyperlink that to your employees making the ice cream in the building. So you want to link to external and internal websites. So let's explain that a little bit further. You want to provide internal links to your site. So for instance, if you say, try our delicious favors, could be cross-linked to your menu. So in other words, this is showing a hypothetical. If you're saying try our delicious flavors, hyperlink that so it goes to your menu. So even though you have a menu tab on the website, you want to put a hyperlink in the text. It gives that a jump. You're linking to yourself. The more hyperlinks you have, on your website, created by yourself or created by someone else, the more ranking you're going to get. You want to avoid hyperlinking generic terms. I see this all the time. So, for instance, download our wine price list. Now, you could either, I see people hyperlinking the word download or say the word price list. People aren't, you want to hyperlink terms that explain who you are. Price list is generic. Download is generic. So the way to do that would be view our 2016 Walford Wine Price Guide. By hyperlinking that, I'm advertising Walford wine a lot better than if I were doing it this way. I hope everybody understands that. Here's something I see all the time. To view our calendar of events, to view our menu, to view our video, to view whatever, click here. And so click here becomes the hyperlink. But everybody uses that. It doesn't say anything about your business. The minute you hyperlink a word, it can be a little mini PR agent for you. And click here isn't going to give you any PR. So what you want to say is, check out Walford's Winery calendar events. Check out Walford's Winery's new video on how we make wine or how we make ice cream. Check out Walford's new 2016 summer menu. So I hope you understand what I'm saying here. You want the hyperlink to be a PR agent for you. It needs to have a definition of you in there. It can't just be click here. This is complete waste. It will serve the function for the end user. They're going to click on that and they're going to get what they wanted. It's not going to help you with your search engine at all. So you want, again, to be able to be up there high when people find you. Because they may be looking for calendar of events for winery. Forget that Walford's there for a minute. There may be somebody in Virginia coming up to Delaware. They want to look at Delaware wines, and they may go on to Google and they might just search winery events. This would come up because I have those words in there. So you kind of want to think about how the person on the other end is searching for things. Think about how you search for things when you're on Google. This is what this is all about. So this is my academic website where I studied 19th century treatment of Chinese people. We don't need to get into that. But I created this on WordPress. It's 2 years old. I will tell you, this is not a hot topic. This is not Kardashians. This is not a sexy topic. A lot of people don't even know who Thomas Nast is. This has received 167,000 views. The reason it has, and the reason it ranks, is because I click people. So I could say, consider, for example, the work of George F. Keller. I could say, click here to see George F. Keller. Wouldn't do me any good. But there are people out here who know who this guy is. So I also, on the side here, I want to include myself in the world of other people talking about editorial cartoons and journalism history and immigration. So on the side, I have links to Harper's Week, MoMA, which is the Museum of Modern Art, his Wikipedia site. Ohio State has a site on him. So I'm linking to related businesses, related conversations to mine. I'm linking my other blogs. I'm linking to other voices, people who are upset about the way he drew Chinese people or the way he drew Irish people. I also have a link of resources. Would you like to learn more about this? Well, here's some links. When I'm doing that, it makes me more searchable because I'm helping to promote other websites. And when you think of the word web and how it's all interconnected, this is what you need to do on your websites where you can and where it's appropriate. Extension, can't really endorse people per se, but we might have a list of, we will link, certainly we will link to Mid-Atlantic Webinar because it's an extension partnership. But we may not link to Walmart that is selling fruits. We're not going to do that. So it has to be appropriate for your business. Here you'll see circled, I use the word stereotype. In this case, I wanted to be in on the definition. So when people click on that word stereotype, it's going to go to my page within this website of how I have defined stereotype, as opposed to linking it to Wikipedia, which I could have done. So you want to have a combination of external and internal links on your website. And you don't want to overdo it, but you want to be able to, if I wanted to promote Fiona Dean Halloran book, I could easily highlight her name, link it to her Amazon account, and promote her book. I'm not in the business of doing that, but see what I'm saying? You could do that. So you want to have internal links on your web page. You want to ask your partners and your friends to link to your page, particularly if you're a blogger, and you should reciprocate. You may not want to have a whole slew of links, but you could have a page where you could say, here are our partners. We want to thank, the following people for helping us. And this also helps you become a thought leader on your topic. If you are growing produce, you may want to link to recipes. You may have recipes that are in your family. Then you want to create a page, put those recipes up, and then link to those. But you also want to link to some other sites because they're going to see that you've done that. Okay, they're going to see that you've done that. You also want to put your link to your email in your link to your website in your email signature, whatever signature. If you're using Outlook, if you're using Yahoo, it doesn't matter. You want to put a hyperlink to your website in your email signature. If you have a Gmail account, it's even better. But you want to say, I would say Michelle Walford. If you looked at my email signature, it says who I am, the phone numbers, and it says visit our website, and then it has the extension website, and that's hyperlink. So that's helping extension because Google is detecting these and they're adding them up. The more that are out there, the more people that are linking to your page, the more influential you are. You want to have a companion social media site or two. Okay, so we have really everything we do. It's important. It's on our website, but we have social media accounts and we make sure that our, and you'll see here, extension udel.edu, it's listed on so we're constantly repeating that website address wherever we can. And the more that is existing in the world, hyperlinked, the more prominent, the more influential our site is going to be. Another thing too is edus are always going to trump a .com. It's kind of the way it works is your .gov, .mil, .edus are your top ones. .military, .government, .edu. They are the most trusted domain names. After that, it's .org, and after that, it's .com. And now there's a couple others that have been added on. So you've got to fight to get in, and now I'll show you how that's worked for me. Here's my website. I searched for Thomas Nast cartoons, and this is the artist I studied. He's very well known. Here's Wikipedia. It was the first one. Ohio State University was the second. Another EDU, California State University was third. I'm fourth. I'm on the first page. I'm fourth, and I have a .com. But I'm there because of how I've configured my website. So, I'm beating out, and there's a lot of other universities that follow me, so I'm beating out a lot of EDUs because of what I've done. I'm able to go in and look at, this is 1 year, I can look and say 22,000 people came to my site from Google. Amazingly, close to 700 came through Google image search, and this is what we're going to talk about next. Bing, not Yahoo, a little bit less. And then I have so I'm able to see exactly how did people find me out? How did they learn about me? And so this is what WordPress will give me, all these different, so this is just for 1 year of the 2 years that I was doing it. So it's really, really interesting, and I'll show you how and why I rank up that way and what you can do with your stuff. So I'm talking about cartoons, you're talking about fruits and vegetables, your lambs, your sheep, your meat, your steer, your steaks, whatever. Your images are mini PR agents. When you take a photograph from your camera, it's going to have a series of numbers. This is what happens when you download something from Facebook. It has, or Flickr will give this really long, ugly name. If you're doing it directly from a SLR, it will a file name will look like this, or if it's coming from your phone, it may look like this. Before you upload anything to the web, change this name. Nobody is ever going to search, go on Google and say, oh, I want to see how many DSC 1035. I need to know more about that. Nobody's ever going to search for these terms. No one's ever going to search for that. But they might want to search for raindrops. They might want to search for leaves or rose care or something like that. So you need to, take your images before you send them to your web person who's going to do your web work for you. You want to rename the photograph. So this could be renamed Raindrops on Leaf. It could be Delaware Rain on Leaf. So let's say we have a creamery, and I go and you've got a creamery, but I'm a tourist, and I'm coming from Pennsylvania, and I'm coming to Rehoboth for the summer, and I want to type in Delaware ice cream. What am I going to find? So I search for that, and this is what came up. Is your business here? Would your business be here if somebody searched for something? Now, I don't even know the name of these places. All right, I'm brand new. I don't know anything about Delaware. So I don't know about Vanderwins or Hopkins or Woodside or UD Creamery. I just want to know, where can I get some ice cream? So if I'm searching for that, will your photographs show up here? They will never show up here if you've named them DSC 1013 or image 1234. You've got to rename them. It's a huge, and this is where the Weebly and the Wix websites will come into play. You need that little, these are like boosting agents that will help you gain search engine optimization. So if I had a creamery or a winery, first thing I would do is I would rename all these on my computer. This one would say Delaware chocolate ice cream. This one would say whatever that is, pistachio chocolate. I would say Delaware, or your name of your town, Bridgeville, Chrisfield, whatever, Chrisfield ice cream, pistachio coffee chocolate, pumpkin ice cream, Delaware, Maryland, Worcester County. I would be taking a portrait and a horizontal photograph of every single flavor I have in my store. I would put them on Flickr. We'll talk about Flickr. I would label it so that they are mini PR agents. I would have I'm kind of jumped ahead here. I'll show you what you can actually put your website, because there are people who are looking for photographs of ice cream cones, maybe for a book report. They're not even coming to Delaware. They don't know anything about you, but their daughter's doing a book report on the emergence of creameries in agriculture. And so she's going to go on to Google and she's going to look for a photograph. And will your photograph be there? Because when you Google, I'll come back to the slide because I kind of jumped ahead. When you search for something, I searched here for Delaware Farm. These are the images that are here. There's a lot of images that aren't here. So I say, okay, well, I like this one at the top, so I'm going to take a look at it. So then I look at this picture, and what does Google do? Google immediately says, would you like to visit the page? So here this picture is sitting on a website somewhere. Wouldn't you like them to click on your page and see I do this all the time. I want to see the context of where this came from. But this picture showed up because someone was smart enough to label this Delaware Agricultural Delaware Farms. It had these either had the keywords in it embedded in behind the photograph, or it was retitled that way. But I cannot tell you how many people will come to your website because they've looked for a generic picture. They weren't even looking maybe to come to your business. So if you aren't here and if you haven't labeled yourself, and Flickr, the website that will allow you to hold photographs, is a big driver to this. So let me keep going. The other thing you want to do is people take a look at this photograph here, and this is a little blurry because I tried to blow it up, but this is another extension website, and this photograph here is called Community Development. You can right-click on any photograph depending on whether it's Chrome or Internet Explorer or Firefox. This one here says, what does that say? Let's see here. I'm trying to think of what inspect. It says inspect. In Firefox, it says photo information on the photo. This photo here with children in a garden showing community development was named 5 Donovan article. Do you see the problem there? It's showing up here, and most people aren't going to do that. But here's the point. If someone is Googling community development in this state or community gardens in this state, wouldn't you want your website to show up in that result? So this was Ohio State. I'm not looking for Ohio State. I just want to know about community gardens. And if that was labeled correctly, it would show up better in a search. It could bring me back to this page, and now I know something about Ohio Extension I didn't know before. I'm constantly trying to promote what cooperative extension is because people don't know. I can't stress to you enough how important it is to label your photographs correctly, and so that they become searchable, and that's the big thing. So here's our website at the Carville Research and Education Center. I'm in Firefox here. I used View Image Information. I right-clicked on this picture, and the View Image Information reads, and what it reads is UDEL Grad Research. So it isn't Walfred 001 Photo 1 or Photo 2. I didn't do that. I named it UDEL Grad Research. So at least it pointed back to our organization. It talked about students. I could have done this a number of different ways, but that's better than Image 101 or Walford 102 because that doesn't tell me anything. This, again, going back to my research, this was a cartoon that Nass drew. And I'm Irish, and he was drawing Irish this way. And so in this particular cartoon, I uploaded this from my phone. And so it uploaded with this. So I couldn't rename it from my phone. I was stuck. So I uploaded it. And it came in as image 1187. And what I did is then I dropped down and I retitled it, NAST Clergy, the date, Democratic Party, because that's the elements of the cartoon. I happen to caption this in the context of my website, so it's the title of the cartoon. It has his name, it has the date, and where I got it from, which is my own scan. I have an alternate text. This is to help people who have visual disabilities or use text to voice-to-text software. Doesn't help so much with SEO, but it's just a nice thing to do. The descriptions never appear anywhere except in code. But if you can load your descriptions up with tags, these are called tags or meta tags. Google does see these. They don't appear anywhere, but Google is able to read them if you tell them. So someone coming in here, and maybe they're not looking for an Irish Catholic, but maybe they're looking for something with Harper's Weekly or New York politics, or maybe they're just looking for NAST. Because I've entered all these other descriptions in, this has a better chance of showing up, not just if they know the title. It'll always show up if they know the title. It's going to show up when they roundabout kind of know what it's about, just a cartoon. These things will show up. So that's kind of what you have to do. So this is just, you can look at this later when this goes live, but this is what you need to do. If you are in a content management system like Drupal or WordPress or Joomla, you want to be able to add this information. You can add it in after the fact, which is nice. Flickr is part of the Yahoo network, but the images feed quickly into Google. You need to create a free Yahoo account to open Flickr. It will give you 1 terabyte of free photo storage. If you have a business and you don't have a Flickr account, you're crazy, crazy, crazy. It is phenomenal for what it can do to your business in terms of SEO and also in terms of marketing. First of all, it gives you a tremendous backup to your photographs, and it records the original resolution, so you can go back and if it's 5 megabytes, you can get it. You want to have it at half a megabyte, you can get that. It is a wonderful service. And what you do with that, this is an example of a partnership we did. Touchy. This is a workshop that we did with the University of Maryland on farm safety. So I uploaded these pictures and I renamed them because when I uploaded them, they were all like DSC 101, DSC 102. There's a bulk uploader that lets you do this all at once. So I named them Poultry Growers Electrical Farm Safety Workshop Webinar. All right. So this is, and then you'll notice what I do underneath. I put a link to find out more. Would you like to see the recording of this webinar? I put in a website. So imagine now you have a business with your wines, your produce. People will be searching for pictures of pumpkins, pictures of sunflowers, pictures, and there's hundreds and millions of them. But they may come across your picture of a sunflower or your picture of a pumpkin. And wouldn't it be nice that when they do, you have a way of taking them right to your website to learn more. Again, people will click on this. You can make the picture all rights reserved. This is pictures of people, although you really can't see their faces. This is copyrighted, so all people can borrow it, but they're not legally allowed to use it. I've also loaded this picture with tags. These also factor in because somebody might just be, maybe they didn't know about this workshop, but they wanted to know about electrical safety. Because I put that in as a tag, if they search for that, this picture could show up, and this picture will show up. So I've loaded it up with photographs, cooperative extension, University of Maryland, you name it, just loaded them up because it doesn't cost anything to do it except a little bit of time. But this positions that somebody out on a limb is looking for something about cooperative extension or Bill Brown who passed away or electrical safety. They can come here and they coming here for a different reason, but while they're here, oh, I'm going to find out about who these people are. And so it brings, this is a marketing tool as well as an SEO. This is a huge marketing tool. Here again, here's a picture of a frog that I took. It was a garden toad, jumped right on a lily pad, and I linked it to the extensions lawn and garden page. You'll notice here, I made this so that people can use this. The Creative Commons is it's a way of licensing your photographs so that other people can use it. And so this one, because I made it, I relaxed the copyright on it. It's gotten 716 views. So a 10th grader who's doing a report on frogs can find this on Google. They can download it. They can put it in their PowerPoint presentation. And the only thing they have to do my agreement is you can have it as long as you credit us. So there again, I want to get Cooperative Extension's name out as much as possible. So as many generic pictures of things, I don't put people on there, but of things that I can put out and kind of give it to the world for free. I don't copyright this stuff because I want people to use it. Because if they use it on their blog or their website, they have to give us attribution. So that's free advertisement. So that's what a licensing will do.
Thank you for watching our archived presentation of our Wednesday webinar. If you would like to see more archived Wednesday webinars, please visit our YouTube channel. Or to find a schedule of upcoming live webinars, visit our website.